now work on her ashiwaza and complete her game.
And work on scoring.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
one Yuko would have done it.
She had that 2 huge attacks in the first minute or so. Speaking of which, boom.
Yeah. Boom.
Boom. Boom goes the dot away. So Wazadi right off the bat there for blue.
The Cuban Maria Celia Laborde throws Julia Figueroa for Wazari right from the get-go. So Ronaldo now is just chilled. You know, he's sitting back a bit and he's chilled. I'm not at all sure where. Oh, the reason that there's no coach for the Spanish athlete. There's no coach in the chair. The Spanish athlete is wearing an IJF gi. That means that the gi that they brought was
not legit.
It didn't conform to the IJF standards. So when you get your gi changed, one of the points is that you lose your coach. Well, so the coach is out.
It totally makes sense
and
because
you go out there on your own.
Well, it's the coach's responsibility in a certain sense to make sure that that judo gi is as much as it's the athlete's.
So there isn't the hand sokumake there, but it's okay. We'll give you a gi to fight, but now you fight in one of ours.
Yep.
And
you fight alone.
You fight alone. So that is not going to happen again for Figueroa. She's going to want to make sure that she's got a good gi and a coach in her chair.
With these attacks. Blue's got to be careful because when she was going in for that kataguruma, she almost wrapped the arm around the leg, and that would have been a real waste. She needs to look at a few videos of Takato.
Now, immediately after this contest, we'll go down to mat number 5 as soon as this one is finished, because the under 73 kilo category is taking place down there, and in a couple of fights' time we'll see the Olympic champion Mansur Isaev of Russia. He faces Yertugan Torenov of Kazakhstan. That's in a few fights' time, but get ready to go down to mat 5. The under 52 kilo category is going to start on mat 1 after this. But we're going to go down and see the men's under 73s. What do you think about that, David?
Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. I'm just keeping an eye on this match here. Cuba's still up on that Wazari, and the Spaniard is doing a good job of defending. These are a little better attacks, but they're little attacks. They're not big. Now she looks like she's got a nice deep grip here. She's looking there for some ashiwaza, maybe for an ochi. What I'm liking too with the new rules as far as gripping is you're not seeing the Cubans anymore grabbing both sleeves and driving down. They're going to get nicked for that.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that Ronaldo himself said at the refereeing seminar. Said that he had previously played the rules because that was what was there.
Gamesmanship, right?
Yeah, they were allowed to do that. But in his opinion, it was bad judo. He said these rules that we've had...
Oh, that was a nice attack.
Well, he'd already called a mate, but they'll have a look to see whether or not...
when that was initiated, right?
Yeah, whether... No, he'd already called mate. So from time to time they bring those back and say, yes, okay, it was a score. Slightly untidy now from Laborde after that really nice score.
Well, I think the thing with Ronaldo too is, besides using those rules, I would say that if you look pound for pound, the Cuban women's judo team is probably the physically strongest team out there.
Yeah.
And so using that strength and using that strategy got them pretty far.
It's a stable, isn't it? They just keep bringing one thoroughbred after another.
You know, it's going to be exciting to see them in their home ground later this year.
Well, of course, because they haven't always been able to take large numbers of fighters, but we're going to see 4 per weight. There'll be no question of we can't afford the airfare.
That's right. We'll see what kind of depth they can show, right?
For the first time, I think there are only 2 countries whose depth we've never seen. Just 2. And that'll be Cuba and North Korea. I mean, I think if you staged a competition in North Korea, you see some serious depth there.
Well, the Tokyo Grand Slam is not exactly far from North Korea.
Yeah,
They'll have to fly through Beijing to do it, but...
And the only problem with that is the one place that they would... Well, there are two places that they would not like to go.
Yes.
And one of them is Japan, the other is the United States of America. So if they have a competition in China, and from time to time we see the North Koreans in China, they come across the Qingdao during the qualification period. But in the other, outside of that, we very, very rarely see them, very rarely.
Well, there's certainly been some saber rattling in that area, so...
And the thing is, when they do turn up, it's quality fighters. They medal. You know, every time they send a team, they medal.
Well, it was... we had some... a friend of ours who had some first-hand observation of their training, and Christian mentioned to us the amount of time that they spend doing uchikomi, which is basically what the Japanese do, just thousands and thousands of repetitions. They don't have quality people to do randori against. So basically, they're training, developing the motor skills, and then they'll come out of these competitions and just pop the trigger.
People. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Laborde takes the contest, having thrown very early on, and then just basically